It was going to be the most important video call of my life. In the past 6 months, my husband and I had only seen each other once, but we made it count. I ran my fingers over my abdomen as I recalled that ominous night. According to the doctors, the date of my pregnancy coincided perfectly with the last time I'd seen my husband, and I couldn't wait to share the chilling news. I hadn't expected his visit that night. I'd been preparing for bed when the apartment intercom sounded, and there he was, flowers in hand, a strange, unsettling smile on his face. He had been on one of his paranormal investigations, and his face looked paler than usual. As we embraced, I felt a shiver down my spine, but I dismissed it as nerves. It had been so long since I'd seen those piercing eyes, that enigmatic aura. There was no time to talk, no need to. I barely remembered to close the window before he carried me to bed. "This is our little secret," he whispered before he left, hours before dawn. It was such a cryptic thing to say that I thought I'd misheard him, but later, I understood. There was no way my husband could have returned from his investigation that quickly. He must have tampered with things beyond human understanding and appeared before me. It was a dangerous, forbidden practice, and he asked me not to mention our otherworldly night together. If anyone found out, there would be dire consequences. Even just telling him about the pregnancy was risky, but I couldn't wait any longer. We'd been trying so hard for a baby before his departure, with no luck. Now that it had finally happened, he deserved to know. I took a deep breath and launched the video call. Our relationship had been plagued by his strange encounters for months now, but I still got a sense of unease while I waited for the call to connect. The background appeared first, an eerie room filled with occult artifacts, dark symbols, and unsettling paintings. Then I saw his face, blurred, flickering, but unmistakably my husband. Even after all this time, we could never figure out who should talk first. I just blurted it out. "Babe, I've got news, I'm pregnant." As always, the connection was weak, making my husband's expression unreadable. "What, honey?" he stammered, running a hand over his face. "When did this happen? When were you planning on telling me?" "Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious when it happened, right?" I laughed nervously. "I would have told you sooner, but you asked me not to mention it." My husband stood up, looked around for any paranormal entities, then closed the occult book he was reading. I let out a sigh of relief. We could finally speak freely, and I needed that. I needed to hear what he really thought, because based on his reaction so far, he didn't seem excited. He seemed worried, fearful, even, and I couldn't understand why. We'd talked about this dozens of times, and I had been sure we were on the same page about having a child. "Okay. Now I need you to explain to me very carefully what's going on. I'm sure it happened that night," I whispered into the laptop microphone. "You know, the night you visited 4 months ago during your otherworldly investigation. I wanted to tell you sooner, but you told me it was our little secret. This is madness, this can't be happening." My husband's voice quivered, and the room around him grew darker. "That night was a part of an otherworldly ritual, a sinister exchange. I've been bound by a dark entity ever since. I'm not in control of my actions anymore." I blinked, terrified. This couldn't be real. A sudden ominous noise made me jump. The apartment intercom came to life, emitting spine-chilling whispers and eerie sounds. My breath caught in my throat as I stared at the tiny screen. The face and voice looking into it were identical to that of my husband, on one of his paranormal investigations miles away. "Hi, honey," the thing on my doorstep said in my husband's voice, but with an unsettling, malevolent grin. "I brought some more flowers for you and the baby, from beyond the veil."